A lot of work, I need to admit, and
Yeah.
how to say it. I need to talk more about my offer because
Mm,
my first building public, I mentioned the offer. I got 3 leads from that,
yeah. Yeah.
and then I didn't mention the offer anymore. And it was like, yeah, I mean, okay, people are like, there is engagement, but
Hmm.
nothing more than that, So,
For sure.
uh,
Yeah. It's a
yeah.
balance, man. This is something my life coach taught me, actually, of all
Uh-huh.
people. He was like, because I was really hesitant to like tell people what I do, and like, and then he said, well, if you don't say what you do, nobody will know how to work with you, right? They won't know the next step
Exactly.
to take. So
Exactly.
I think it was in like week 5, I made a thing where I was like, come work with us if you want to work with us. And bam, I got like 5 leads. And I was like, oh my God, like there's something to this. And so now what I try to follow is I'll do like 1 or 2 like join the wait list here kind
Uh-huh.
of posts per
Uh-huh.
week. And
Uh-huh.
then I
Uh-huh.
find that cadence of like giving back with education and stories to, hey, come work with me is
Okay.
a good cadence, especially for people with smaller growth or follower count or whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I will try that. I will do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Okay,
All
what are we
right.
really doing?
Okay. I have like a couple of questions here. I'm
Sure.
just going to shoot away and also
Yeah.
tell me, Louis, like how do you define strategic video content and what makes video content strategic?
Strategic video content. Ooh, that's a nice broad question. Let me think. What makes video content strategic is its ability to target an ideal client rather than just go super broad. Okay, so a lot of people, when they go to create video content, are so heavily focused on the likes, the engagement, posting a lot of Facebook meme videos. Or I don't know if you've seen this, but this is really
Mm-hmm.
popular on
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
they post these kind of pointless videos in an attempt to try and get more attention on their account. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I mean, they get lots of likes, that's for sure. But the problem is that, like you were just saying with your offer, it's not speaking to your exact offer and what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, the way I view like my system for looking at strategic video content is, one, have I used my ideal client's exact words in my videos and like spoken directly to their pains that they come to me to solve?
Mm-hmm.
2, have I crafted my offer to essentially take that messaging and put it into something that I can then sell to them? 3, have I fixed my distribution so that way when I post a video, people actually see it, and not just people, but my ideal client actually sees it?
Mm-hmm.
After that, 4, you want to make sure you're making the right kind of videos to essentially get the right client to you. So, things like collaboration videos, building in public videos, things that anybody can do no matter what size you have. You don't need to be Lara Acosta or Yasmin Alish to make these kinds of videos. Anybody can do this, and it still works because this is what we did, and it worked, right? And then lastly, not necessarily video, but you need to be able to take those eyeballs and then give them the next step. So do you have a landing page? Do you have an email? Do you have free resources? Do you have a workshop? You don't need all of those things, but you need some kind of element of the next step in order to then take the people from the video to your ecosystem.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense because otherwise, yeah, people consume content and then what?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
uh,
oh, that's fun. Like, move on. And it's like,
and
oh,
that's it.
well, that
Yeah.
doesn't help.
No. So tell me, what changes have you noticed when founders start using video content for their own needs?
Yeah. So video really shines at building trust fast. I would say it's not the best kind of content if you want to grow fast. It's not growth-oriented content necessarily. It can be used for growth, but for founders who want, I'd say video is for founders who want to build trust really fast with their ideal client with as few posts as possible. Because video has a higher ROI on time, on like content minutes than any other form of content, right? And what I mean by that is like, say somebody spends 5 minutes on a text post versus 5 minutes on a video post, that the trust built over those 5 minutes will be far deeper on a video post than a text post. And that's because people can get a sense for your tone, your cadence, and most importantly, your personality. Because with marketing, so much of it is just using your personality to attract people with a similar mindset and outlook to you. It's called psychographics, right? And it's a professional marketing term. But if you basically put out your feeling, which video is really, really good at doing, you attract people who want that style of personality and the way you do business. And that's something that other forms of content are really, it's really challenging to do it with them. With video, it's very simple.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I saw it like a lot of times especially with B2B clients, when they loosen a bit, and show a bit of their personalities, you can, yeah,
for sure. Yeah. The more they can loosen up, the better, right? Like it's a huge thing I've realized this week is like people care more about, if you understand their pain more than the exact solution you provide, right? Because almost like if you can articulate their pain well enough, they'll just assume you have the solution to it. I got that from Nathaniel Bibby, who I did a live stream with on Monday. But I thought that was so genius. It's like, yeah, it's totally true. Like, you don't need to have tons of social proof. You don't need to have tons of authority. You just need to understand the pain that people are going through and articulate it well enough that they assume you have the solution.
Yeah, because this is how friends connect, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, psychology, love it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, why are impressions not important, and how do you measure success of video and your self-worth? If not through impressions,
My self-worth. Yeah, I measure my self-worth by my beard length. Why are impressions not important, and how do you measure your video's worth? Awesome. So impressions do have a place in the ecosystem. Okay, I want to say that first and foremost. They're not the most important metric to track if what you're looking for is conversion, right? I'll say that. But if you are a small account and you need to get more eyeballs on you, impressions can actually be really helpful. Okay, so that means using things like collaborative posts to essentially get into wider streams of, I call them streams of eyeballs, but it's basically like, tapping into other people's audiences. That does matter, especially at the beginning. If you have 1,000 connections or 1,000 followers and you just need to get more people in your, to know that you exist, impressions have their place, right? But right now, so there's three ways you can measure content, okay? Like content's performance. I got this from Niall Ratcliffe. One is visibility, and so that's through things like impressions, okay? So good at the beginning if you're trying to grow. Two is through shareability, so that's how many times it was shared. And with video, I find that ones that get the most shared are typically really broad, relatable, story-based videos, okay? Things like Victoria Blanova had a video a couple weeks ago where it was like, lessons I wish I learned at 21 rather than 30. That is a highly shareable video, and so people relate to that story, they share it. So shareability, and that will help with more reach. And the third one is action taken. So with action taken, the things you want to be measuring are engagement levels from your ideal client. I'll say that, not just anybody, but from your ideal client. And follower growth, actually. Also leads, right? Like how many leads you get, obviously, right? You're always looking for leads. That's the main thing. You're looking for calls booked, duh. But what I find, the metric that leads to the most calls booked over time and is engagement from my ideal client and follower growth. And the reason why that is because say often the people that sign up on our wait list, for example, for our video community, it's like they've been lurking for probably 10, 20 videos, right? Like they've been lurking, but they've been following, right? They followed us 2 months ago, and then they've just been silently consuming our content, right? And so that follower growth from your ideal client is really, really essential so that way they can actually see what you're doing. So that's what I'm always measuring is not exactly like how many people I can grow by. I'm not looking for the biggest account. I'm not looking to be the next Lara Costa or Yasmin Alish. But what I am looking for is targeted growth from my ideal client. And the more I can get my ideal client within my ecosystem, the better. So if my videos or my posts or whatever accomplish that, that is a successful post for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
okay, so they're lurking somewhere in the background, you know, like consuming your content, but you need to give them. You need to, as you said at the beginning, you know, you need to make possible for them to understand what's the next step and to take action when they're ready, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, and you do this through, I mean, through like calls to action on your content, or did you find that you do that, like people go on your profile and you have there, you know, like the I don't know, like lead magnet or something where they can go and do something.
Yeah, dude, it's both, Rush. Like, so the cadence I'm doing right now is 1 to 2 call to action posts a week. So like, you don't want to be asking too much in too many posts, because otherwise you'll burn through, and then people will just be like, this guy's always asking for stuff, or this gal's always asking for stuff. So 1 to 2 call to action posts a week, I find, is a good rate that I'm using right now, and it's working quite well. And then my profile, I have optimized to what Taslim Fateh, who's he's like a LinkedIn guy, he's really smart. He calls it a slippery profile. And so with a slippery profile, basically all you're doing is people need to know what you do, who you do it for, and the outcome they receive, right? Clear, super clear. Don't get pretty, just like really, 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 really clear, right? That's what you're aiming for. And then after that, they need to know where they can go to take the next step. So you'll see if you go to my profile, my banner, my headline, my about section, it's all pointing people towards my featured section. And that's because in my featured section, I have my landing page. And I know that if they go to my landing page to watch my video sales letter, they see my copy there, it'll help to persuade them to join my waitlist, right? So who do you help? What do you do for them? And what is the outcome they receive? And then guide them to the next step, which is often featured section.
Yeah. Awesome. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, actually. You know?
Yeah. Totally.
All right. Look, people say that we are hardwired for stories, you know. What does storytelling mean to you? Like, how do you define storytelling?
Ooh, that's a juicy question. Ooh, ooh, damn. Okay, what does storytelling mean to me? Okay. So I've been experimenting a ton with storytelling. I'm actually just creating a building and public video right now about this exact thing, funny enough. Yeah. So with storytelling, to me, what it is, it's relatability, okay? And starting conversations. So if you think about it, like when you consume a piece of content, there's value to education, right? To just like getting a raw download, a raw lesson to say, 10 tips to boost your LinkedIn video performance in 2025 or whatever. Like there's some value to that, but the problem with it is that it doesn't grab you and make you want to be a part of that person's ecosystem, right? So what stories do is they create an emotional bond between the creator and the person who is consuming the content. And so if I put out a post that says, in September 2024, I had been building a business for 2 years with 0 leads from my content. I'd been pounding the pavement, working 80-hour weeks, and with 0 results. And I was at my wit's end and ready to give up on business, right? People who are in that same circumstance will be like, that's me. That's me. He's lived my life. Okay, I'm here to listen now. And then they'll be more willing to listen to how you got out of that circumstance, right? So really, 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 really important. Like the more I use them, the more I realize this is like the best type of content for building a brand, if that's important to you. Brand is really just like your reputation online and how people perceive you. And also like getting people to buy into your way of doing things, right? Which is what you want. And that's what increases follower growth, which is what increases lead count, all that good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So it builds that emotional connection.
Awesome. But like, do you think that okay, so do you think that being vulnerable is then the same as storytelling? Because this is what I see on LinkedIn. Like the the things that are sticky, the stories that stick, are usually of founders or of people who are in a like. I don't know. We were bankrupt, whatever. Something really like
Yeah.
that hits you,
Yeah.
And okay, I can understand. Yeah, okay, this is a part of it, sure. But do you think if you overuse it,
Yeah.
then
Oh, totally.
eventually it's gonna it's just like, come on, you're just whining all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. So there's a balance, right?
Yep.
That's a great point, man. So, I think Laura Acosta says 3 educational, 2 story posts a week. That's kind of her cadence that she uses. I'm experimenting right now. I don't know, like I'm still experimenting. Okay, so I'll just say that. But what I have noticed is that the story posts are the ones that connect, and the education posts are the one that sort of prove you know what you're talking about. Okay, so stories bring people in, connect, followers, all that stuff. They're great for follower growth, and then education sort of proves that you can actually do the thing that you say you do. Okay,
Yeah.
so you want to balance the two. It's like story and education. I try to put those 2 in, and then the other sort of point to your question, like, it's not necessarily about vulnerability. It's about how you overcame it. Okay, so there's a framework that Dakota Robertson uses. I don't use the exact same framework, but I think it's wonderful for telling stories. He calls it the HERO framework. It's an acronym. So HERO, stands for hardship. What was the hardship you went through? Or your client, right? It could be your client that came to you. Matt Lekayev posted a post, I think it was yesterday, talking about how like his client came to him in tears because somebody had ruined their account by using automated DM bots, right? Right? So hardship, you start with a hardship, okay? And then you go through the effort that it took to get through that hardship. So that's the E, the effort. Hero, R. R is the realization that you've had through going through that effort, right? So I went through all this hardship, and then I realized this really important thing. And then the outcome, right? So now that you've realized that thing, what's your reality now? Or I think it's outlook. I think Dakota says it's outlook. So how has your outlook changed now that you've gone through that hardship, gone through the effort, had the realization, and then your outlook changes, right? So that's how you build a personal story framework that connects with people, builds follower growth, and ultimately just gets more leads for your business, because you prove to people that you've been in their situation, and then you've solved it, and you can help them, basically.
Cool. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I'm using Hero's Journey framework a lot. It's similar, but you have there is a mentor usually, mentorship part in it when something, either a book or you watching with video, whatever, that makes you think differently, and then you come to the realization and
the hero framework's a good one. I think people can get in their heads a lot about that one, especially business owners. Like that's more a Hollywood or like Story Geek framework. Because like people are like, well, I never had a Yoda to teach me how to use the Force, right? Like I don't know. Exactly. It's like, what if I'm just been grinding, and what if I have no authority yet? What if I have no social proof yet? What if I've never had that moment to turn it around? Well, that's fine. I was there too, like 5 months ago, right? And so it's about, like, I think the really, really important thing with stories is that it's about like celebrating the small wins and making yourself the case study, right? So if you have a free client, show what you did for that free client, right? Like show it, I had this hardship, went through the effort with this free client, had this realization, and here was the outcome, right? So it's always about like, just don't feel like you need to have like, I was broke and now I'm making $1 million kind of story. That's so the wrong way to do it. The right way to do it is basically celebrate the small wins, turn yourself into a case study, and then just keep displaying those wins as you go and let them compound over time. That's all we did. And building in public, you're doing the right thing. That's exactly how you do it.
Actually, to tell you the truth, like these videos, building in public, are the easiest one to mean, they take they take a long time to produce, but they are the easiest ones to come up with, you know,
Totally.
because you just think, okay, what happened this week? Okay, this. Okay, I learned. Yeah, okay, what I fucked something up. Yes, okay, let's talk about it. You know?
Totally.
It, you know?
Here's the good. Here's the bad. Here's the transparency. You know, here's my numbers, whatever, and that's my week. And it's interesting because people get to see into your life a little bit, right? Like that's what makes it interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Talking head videos. Do you think they are going to get extinct?
Good question. No, I don't think so. I think they will lose their ability to reach many people, but I still think they'll be good for displaying authority to your existing audience, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so,
it does.
So I don't think they're a good move for reaching a ton of people because they just don't grab attention well. They're just heavily overused, right? But for people who have been following Urosh, is that how I pronounce the name? Urosh? Urosh, sorry. Yes. If people have been following Urosh for like, 3 months, and you make a talking head video, and they're like, wow, Urosh, like, I didn't hear your voice. I haven't heard your voice for 3 months, and here you are talking now. Now I trust you so much more. But you've already kind of built that relationship with them for like 3 months. That's where talking head videos come in. Yeah. So they have a place, but I don't think that they should be like the cornerstone of a video strategy necessarily. I think they're a tool to use, but they're not everything.
Yeah, I agree. But it's hard for me to see a 55-year-old CEO of a, I don't know, smelting company, you know, doing a building in public video, you know. Like they are okay with standing in front of a camera and talking to the camera, but yeah, usually you need to have a teleprompter for them, you know. So you take but
it's true.
Yeah,
it's
true.
How
it is, you know. It's how it is.
For them, that's just what it is, you know. Like if they don't feel comfortable doing other things, then that's fine. Like I think people who are doing a really great job with founder content is the Ratcliffe brothers, Morgan and Niall, and they put some talking head video in there for sure. But basically, what Morgan does is he just like brings his phone around with him and just kind of films his life. Right? This is what I'm doing. This is the stuff. You know, this worked. This didn't work. Here's me getting ready for my day, whatever. And then he just sends all the clips to an editor, and the editor just edits it up and turns it into founder content that makes people go, wow, this guy seems really cool. I think they're doing founder content better than anybody that I've seen on the platform anyways.
I know them. I'm following them, but I never went so deep into what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. I'm going to check them out.
Sure. Yeah.
So you say that you're helping your clients make videos that their ideal clients actually give a shit about.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, for sure. So the big problem a lot of people have when going to create content is that they'll make something and then get crickets, right? Nobody will watch it or care about it. They'll scroll right past because the hook doesn't grab, the subject matter is kind of bland, and it doesn't really speak to a pain that their ideal client actually has, right? It's just an assumption that they've made that they think people need, but they don't really know people need. And I know this because I spent 2 years doing this, right? Like two years with like nobody caring about my content, right? 2 whole years until I flipped the script and started building in public, right? Getting more transparent. Until I started collaborating with people that my ideal client already cared about. And so now they care about me because they care about my guest, kind of like what we're doing right now. Or 3, interviewing and understanding my ideal client and what they're actually looking for when they come to work with me so that I can craft my content to match their needs, right? That's all it is. It's listening. You're listening to your ideal client. You're asking them, hey, why did you buy from me? You know, what would happen if you didn't buy from me? And taking those pains, or like, what was the trigger? What was the thing going through your mind? What were the fears? That kind of stuff. and you just use that in your content. And you know, if it worked for this person that you, like your ideal client that you're already working with, that you love working with, if it worked for them, it'll work for another person, right? So those fears then transfer over to somebody else's fears, or those buying triggers transfer over to somebody else's buying triggers. And that is how you make people actually give a shit about your content, right? It's lots of research, yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, last question.
Sure.
What are you going to get for breakfast?
Oh, good question. I have, here, let me show you.
Right.
You can probably still hear me. That's funny. Wireless microphones for the win. So for breakfast this morning, I don't know if you can see this. Oh, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I have a toast. Jenna made this. Jenna's my lovely wife, co-founder. It's toast with spinach, and there's boiled egg, and there's some pickled onion, and some tomato, salt, and pepper on that bad boy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And avocado. It's like this. Yeah, it's a really nice breakfast. Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Take
Sounds
a bite
delicious.
right. I'm going to take a bite on camera because, you know, that sounds like fun.
Do you eat your mustaches? You know, sometimes when you
All
eat
the time.
food? All the time, right?
man. All the time.
Yeah. I had the same issues. That's why I'm cutting them.
You look good, brother. Yeah, you just went to the barber shop, right?
Yesterday.
Dude, it looks good, man. It looks real good.
Thanks.
I have to put mustache. I don't have wax, but it's like a balm, and that's what helps kind of keep my mustache out of my mouth a little bit. If you grow a mustache, or not you, but you know, the audience, if you grow a mustache, get some mustache balm. It really, really helps.
Awesome. Well, and on that note, Louis, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming.
No worries, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's it. Let's stay in touch, okay?
Sounds good. Urosh.
All right.
Urosh. Not Tom, it's Urosh. You rock, man.
Well, I need to tell you the story about Tom, you know?
Yeah.
As you can imagine, like, my name is, for some people, of course, it's hard to pronounce, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why when I think it was like 20 years ago, something like that. I'm 40 now. Let's say I was 23, something like that. I used to ride BMX, and I was on a contest competition, and there was a guy who was like a junior director, and he wanted to film a movie, and he saw me. He said, "Oh man, you look like Tom Cruise, you know?
Tom Cruise?
Would you play in my movie?" You know? I was like, "Well, sure, why not?" You know. And then when I meet somebody who cannot pronounce my name, I just say, "Actually, you can call me Tom," you know.
Yeah. You can call me Mr. Cruz if you like. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Good story.
Yeah. All right, Liz.
Awesome.
Take care.
Well,
I'm going to leave you. Have a great day. Enjoy your breakfast.
Thank you.
Say hi to Jenna, and see you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. Thank you so much for doing this, Urosh. I really, really appreciate it, dude. It's great to meet you.
Pleasure.